Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope you had a good weekend. Again, sorry that this video is a little bit later than what I would normally do. Just work, etc. That's sometimes I'm busier than normal. So today's video. So I'm going to be discussing a few things, obviously regarding Harry and Meghan, because, well, that's what I'm doing at the moment. But I will be telling you this, that at some points I'm going to be starting to introduce other things onto this channel, because I'm sure, like most of you, I will keep up to date with them, and I will be doing the timeline. Once I finish that, I will be then discussing other things that are going on in the media, and obviously asking you for what you would like me to talk about. So today, I have a special guest, although he's hiding just below the camera. I know a lot of you are missing Arthur. Arthur. There he is. Hello. Your dusty little eyesies. Say hello. Say hello. You say hello. So he is here, and I'm hoping that he will not just be hiding, you know, from the camera the whole time. So, but yeah, so he's just come back from his walk and he's very tired. So yes, that's what's going to be discussed in today's video. So if you would like to join me, and as I am now getting people adding their videos to the grab your drink of choice, and I'm so glad that you are all enjoying being part of this channel. So here is another lady who is grabbing her drink of choice.
So here we are again. Why not join Ems? Grab your drink of choice. Add a little something something if you like. You know what the flag says. It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
So I hope you enjoyed that. And like I say, if you want to be part of this channel and to do your grab your drink of choice, please do so. You can. The email is coming along the bottom here now, so you can send it to me. You do not have to be on camera. So you can just do an audio, or you can do a voiceover to your pets, etc. Whatever you are comfortable in doing. You can do that and add this, and so it goes up on the channel. I just want to incorporate all of you as much as possible. The picture that is going around of Princess Catherine. So I'm seeing a few things. So this seems to be being circulated by America. It was picked up by TMZ. It's being picked up by People magazine, I think, and lots of other American media outlets. However, the British media are not circulating this. And I want to put something here that I saw online, which is this particular person. Not always a fan of this guy, but this is what he has put out, and the fact that he has put this out publicly says to me that this is probably true. And in a way, I am sad about it, because I'm not going to lie, when I did see this picture being circulated, there was a bit of relief, if I'm honest. So, but then I also felt a bit of sadness, because I felt, you know, my first instinct was, you know, I really hope that she's not feeling like she's pressured to come out and show herself because of all the speculation that is going on. We have been told that she will be coming back after Easter, and respectfully, and I'm really glad that the British media are respecting that, regardless of what the Americans are putting out there. But at the end of the day, I don't know 100%, but I would say that if someone like Chris Ship is putting that out there, maybe that there is, and the fact that the British media are not circulating this, because it would be news because it's everywhere, then I would imagine that this isn't, it's probably an old picture from a while ago, and it's just being circulated now for some reason, and I don't know why. But anyway, so as always, we will continue to wish the Princess Catherine, you know, a speedy recovery, whatever is going on for her. And respectfully, like I've said in a previous video, I will not be discussing anything of what I think or feel, because at this point it would be just speculation, and I don't feel that's appropriate. So getting that out of the way. So there's not really much in the news at the moment. So I kind of wanted to do a little bit more of a dive into something that come up on an interview. And I want to thank the lovely lady who emailed me this, because I didn't know this and didn't pick up on it. But there was a recent interview that was done with a royal expert, and I'll put her name up here. And the interview I found very interesting. So she was being interviewed in regards to some things that she had written about. I believe she's written a book, etc. And but what this person emailed me, which I found very, very interesting, is that when it came to the subject of Harry and Meghan, and there's a particular, and I will put, if I can, put the clip in a minute. Now, I might get a copyright strike. So in which case, if you don't see the clip, it's because there's a copyright strike and I've had to remove it. But I will explain what the clip is, just in case it hasn't gone up.
I'm sure you're asked this all the time, Ingrid, but I will ask it again. You knew Princess Diana. What would you make of that kind of rift between the brothers? What would she... Surely that would have been very distressing for her if she knew that they didn't get on or didn't talk to one another.
I think that if Diana were, if Diana was still around, let's say, that it never would have happened. The circumstances would have been very different. And had, they were always fighting as children. They were always scrapping and fighting with each other, as siblings do, especially boy siblings. And they were actually never quite as close as we always thought they were. It's just that at the time of their mother's death, they did a lot of stuff together. They did a lot of interviews together, and they seemed very close. But I remember Harry saying, I like my brother much more now he's come back from his gap year. So it was really after school that they became closer. But then it's a tenuous relationship, and I can't see them making it up right now. Certainly not at the moment. They're just, the opportunity hasn't arisen. Harry lives so far away. But I do think that when the children, William and Catherine's children, are a bit older, they're going to long to go to California and see their cool cousin, Archie, because Archie is going to be a really cool cousin. And they will long to meet him and see him. And I think from the children's point of view, maybe it's the children that will bring the family together.
So obviously if the clip has gone up, you've seen it. If it hasn't, this is basically what she said. So she was asked about Harry and Meghan and then she started talking about what a shame it would be in regards to the cousins and Harry and William and Catherine, etc. But what she said was, it's a real shame because I'm sure the cousins would love to go across and play with their cousin Archie. There is no mention whatsoever of Lily. Now, bearing in mind, she's allegedly gone too now. I really do believe that this is another nugget of proof that Lily isn't with them. And for all intents and purposes, I wouldn't say she doesn't exist, because as I've explained before, I believe the child does, but she's not a real child and she's not Harry and Meghan's. Because if you are somebody that is a very credible royal expert, why, when you're talking about just casually talking, would you not say they would love to go across the pond and play with their cousins Archie and Lily? You wouldn't leave Lily out. So this tells me this was a bit of a slip, because the truth is there is no Lily. Now, I have said, as you know, that I believe Archie is here. Hello again, Arthur. Arthur. Baba. Hello. I see you. I see your little eyes poking up. I have said before that I believe Archie is over here. And there has been something that came out a little while ago where King Charles III said, happy birthday to Archie wherever you are. Now, it is very possible that maybe the child has gone to the States to be nearer Harry. Very possible. However, I am still of the belief that he is here. Because, and I believe that he is, in a way, secret, in hiding, and I understand that completely, because if I was a mother of a child that was connected to Harry, I wouldn't want any media intrusion whatsoever. So I can absolutely understand if that is the case. However, I'm not going to bang on about that because you've heard me say this a million times. So I found that incredibly interesting, and I just feel that it really does start to go towards the fact that I believe there is some kind of injunction that is out there in regards to the children. The fact that their births are sealed, they are the only royal births that have been sealed. Why? The fact there was no royal doctors on the birth announcements. Why? Everything is just very unprecedented when it comes to these children. Like, I know that many of you still believe that a surrogate was used, and I have explained where I don't believe a surrogate was used. But I still find it interesting that if these children were even biologically hers, then she would still be classed as their mother. But she's not. Remember when she was suing for Archie's privacy, she was down as a litigation friend. She wasn't down as Archie's mother. So all of these things, and now this particular royal expert not even mentioning Lily, I truly believe that this is more proof that this girl is not with them. She is not their royal daughter. And so, of course, people have said to me when I've spoken about this roughly before, why would she do this? And I truly believe it's because she got away with the first one. The first one, and it makes more sense if Archie is real but not hers. Because now she would want a child of her own, because she would want a child that she could manipulate. She can't manipulate Archie because Archie isn't hers. The mother would have full control over Archie, and that's why Meghan wouldn't raise another woman's child. She just wouldn't. So she would then want a child of her own to eclipse Archie, which is why Archie doesn't really get any mention so much at all. There's nothing really glowing when they talk about the children. There's nothing individual. So I believe that Meghan would want a child of her own so she could then eclipse Archie if Archie is Harry's. But it went wrong. The adoption went wrong, which is what I have heard, that there was money involved. They didn't pay up. There was issues with the mother, the real mother. She didn't get on with Meghan. There were issues there. And so in the end, she chose to not go ahead with it, which is why I have said there is a birth of a Diana Mary born in California around that time. But there is no birth that I can see, that I found any evidence of a Lilibet Diana. So this is why the domain name was brought up of Diana Mary first, because that was the original name. This is why I believe that was the name that they went and spoke to the Queen about. I think that they offered to either take the name Elizabeth or it was Mary, because it makes sense if the child was called Diana Mary. And not only that, then when it didn't go ahead, they then had to come up with another name. And I think then Meghan was then frantically scrambling to find another child, which she hasn't been able to find. So I still feel that behind the scenes, she's potentially trying to adopt another child. But in the meantime, in a way, why does she need to? Because they've been able to keep this secret for this long, for 2 years. So in her mind, she's probably thinking, well, I've got away with it so far. Now, going further on, how they can get away with this, I don't know. I mean, maybe they can use it under the guise of, we've got royal children, they need to be kept secret, whether they're going to divorce. And then what they'll do is that Harry will maybe come back to the UK, and then Archie will be here. And then she'll carry on pretending with Lily, reeling out the odd child and pretending, paying people off. I generally don't know how far they're going to take this, or are they going to do something and say something awful that's going to possibly happen? I hope not. But are they going to use some kind of to do with the security issue? Don't know. I haven't thought that far ahead. I don't know how they're going to carry this on. So I just think that's very, like I say, another credible thing. And like I say, people have said why, and I've said because I think she got away with it the first time. She learned a little bit from the mistakes that she made in regards to the weight gain, etc. She would know how to do this because she's an actress. She's in the, well, I mean, she's certainly in the field. She knows how they do it, and there are ways to do it. Some actors drink meltdown ice cream because the dairy can create bloating and it creates weight gain. It's very quick and easy to do, so they melt down and then drink tubs of ice cream as liquid. Protein shakes, bulking up, there's all sorts of ways to create weight gain. Actors have been doing it for years, so the fact that if that's all you're basing it on is, well, she did put weight on, also look at the fact that she didn't gain any weight until the birth of Archie, and then suddenly she gained weight. That doesn't happen. You tend to gain weight, even if it's in the breasts or somewhere, you would tend to gain weight prior, certainly the last couple of months. But she didn't. 8 months, she's bending down with legs together, effortlessly in heels. And I'm not saying that you can't walk in heels pregnant. I know you can. There are people that do it. But I defy anyone that is heavily pregnant with a big bump and that can bend down with your knees together effortlessly and then just stand back up again. There's evidence and footage of her doing it, and I believe that she did it because she didn't care. She knew the royal family knew the truth. She knew that Harry knew the truth. She knew the media knew the truth, but there was nothing that could be done because there was an injunction to stop anything being talked about. So yeah, so that's just I wanted to show that or tell you that, and I will put the link in my description box of the interview if I've not been able to put it up here, or where you can go and watch the full interview to see for yourself. So the other thing as well is I want to also talk about some little things that I've found out in regards to their mansion, and I've said before that I really do not believe that they are living in this mansion. And it's interesting because I've gone on some of the places to see if I can find anything credible. I found some interesting things, but doing some of the research myself. And what was funny is that one of my videos cropped up on one of the feeds, and I saw it. I didn't see it was my video, but someone put, oh, this lovely lady was talking about how she believes they're renting this mansion out, and I was like, oh, someone else thinks the same as me. So I clicked on the link and it was my video, and I was like, oh, okay, and that was kind of, I was a bit like, oh, I've been shared. Oh, that's nice. And I'm not getting any hate for it. I mean, that's also unusual. So yeah, so I found it very interesting in the because a few people have said, often email me and say, look, do you really think they're living there? Do you think that this is all a ruse, etc.? And I generally do. Now, I'm not saying that I don't believe that there was a connection to the mortgage, because obviously, as we know, it's in a trust. And I will put some screenshots up here of the things that I found. What is interesting is that even though it's still on, which I find a bit bizarre, that when you Google it, the fact that it's still on Zillow, it's still on various other places, realtor sites, I find that a little bit odd. But maybe that's an American thing. I don't know. But it's many things for me. That firstly, even though, yes, this property was deducted in price, a considerable amount, I kind of feel like I want to, almost ask the question, why? What, the fact that there's a connection to Russians with this as well is very suspicious to me. The fact that it wasn't mortgaged by the two of them, it is under a company run by, is it Rockridge? So the buyer of the mansion is Real Residential Estate Trust, but it's connected to Andrew Meyer, who is connected to Meghan Markle. But I find it a little bit odd that anyone that's driven past here, and I've seen images on Google Earth, this property does not look lived in. It doesn't. There's no security. It's overgrown. The fact that of all the properties they could have bought, and there were quite a few up for sale in that time, they decided to go with one that had a bit of a bizarre history, and also an area which is renowned for flooding, fires. It's not the best place. Now, okay, maybe she wanted to be nearer to Oprah. Okay, we could argue that. But the fact as well that this privacy couple that are so fixated on security and how much they want their security, chose to release the initial statement in the press of where they were moving to when they moved out of Tyler Perry's house. Why would you do that unless it's a flex? Unless you were trying to go, ooh, look at us, you know, we are living our best life and we've moved into this huge mansion. Because it's very odd that you would then cry about your security and how you want to be safe and you're fearing for your children's lives, that you would literally release. Now, it's not that the media found this out. You released a statement stating that you were now leaving Tyler Perry's and moving to, and you literally gave the address of the property. I find that very bizarre, especially given that Harry, at the time, because this was still quite early on, is obviously a prince of the UK, so his security would be paramount and would be something that the royal family would be very interested in. They would want to make sure that they were very safe and secure. So why on earth would you release the actual address of where you were living unless you needed people to know that, because it was, like I say, it was a flex of, look how great we are. You didn't care about your security when you decided to do that. And I find that, firstly, a little odd as well. Then you've got the fact that this was in the height of lockdowns. You know, this was in June 2020. No removal trucks, no nothing. Now, some people have said that the property came fully furnished. Now, we know, well, anyone that knows anything about a narcissist will know that that would not have stood. She may have liked some of the stuff there, but she would have wanted to have, she would have wanted to spend money. She would have wanted to make sure that this property was done in the way that she's always dreamed and imagined of having a property. A mansion kitted out. It would have been with the design. She would have had designers in, you name it. We would have had stories of Meghan Markle invites local designer to decorate her property. Meghan Markle has gone with a top designer for the new sofa in their property. We would have had everything. We would have had them the way they talked about kidding out the kids' rooms. Well, it would have been one kid at the time of alleging that Archie was moving in with them. We had nothing. And this was, like I say, this is all in the height of the pandemic. So firstly, the fact that they were allowed to do all of this searching for a property, looking at it when everyone else was in lockdown. So why was there no outrage about this? That was kept very quiet, but there was no real outrage of, hang on a minute, how is it that you're allowed to go around and look at properties and decide, you know, and buy when the rest of us are in lockdown and we're not allowed to do anything? Then they moved and there was, like they're saying, no, there was nothing. So they would have nothing to fill this space. So Meg's Toronto home was furnished by Turnkey Rental. So it was a rental property. Then Meg's other Toronto home was furnished by Corey. Nottingham Cottage furnished by the royal family. Frogmore furnished by the royal family. Vancouver Island was a privately furnished borrowed home. Tyler Perry's home furnished and staffed by Tyler Perry. So aside from possibly the odd little things where they put like the beige desk and the beige everything in regards to where they're filming, there was nothing else. And I find that very odd in all fairness. So it says here that according to Montecito Santa Barbara County CA records, the sale of the Montecito Olive Garden occurred in June the 9th, 2020. The height of the worldwide bug, because I still don't think I can say the actual word. The seller was Rockridge LLC, which according to Google research was Sergei Grishin, aka Scarface oligarch, Russian billionaire, who at the time was going through a knockdown, drag-out divorce with his wife. The buyer of this mansion was Real Residential Estate Trust, which, like I've said, is connected to Meghan. Andrew Meyer, who is connected to Meghan. And he is part of Freemark Financial. So it's a now defunct entity called Global LLC, which was registered and cancelled in 19th of November 2018. So interestingly, the registered address of Global LLC was Wiltshire Boulevard, Suite 1000, Beverly Hills, which is where Andrew Myers, the agent, and none other than Rachel Markle's, well, he was, business, is it one of her business manager or someone? And he was at their wedding. So are they using the mansion as a business expense? And I wonder if that's exactly what that this has happened, because I know that there's been a lot of rumours in that that King Charles paid 9 million or something towards their mortgage. How true that is, I don't know. But I find it a little bit bizarre that, like I said, that you've got a property that looks unkept, unlived in. So was this property purchased as a business transaction so they could film there? So, because as you know, like I said, I was able to, and this was after this property had been purchased by them. I know that some people have said that it was before. It wasn't. It was after. Because in all fairness, why would I do it before? Because I wouldn't have known it existed. So I wouldn't have randomly decided to rent out 7, 6, whatever it is, when I had no idea what that property was. So it was after it was purchased by them, I went through the whole process. I was able to nearly rent this out. It took me right through to payment. Now, given the fact that Harry is a royal, that would be very bizarre that you're able to rent this property out if a royal is living there. So I wonder if this was purchased as a business, as a tax expense. So they not to live there, but they were then able to film there. So they were able to rent out certain periods of the rooms, and they were to kick those out, because also as well, it was stated that Spotify also kitted out a studio for her. Now, whether or not this was also an expense, because I wonder if that's exactly what they're doing. They've literally purchased this, or the trust has purchased it, but I mean, I don't understand all the whys and wherefores. I don't. So, but something most definitely is off here, because I have said that I do not believe they both live there. I have said this from the very beginning of me doing YouTube. I have said this. And the fact that, like I said, when you do Google Earth, there's no kids' toys, there's no nothing. It is derelict. It's overgrown at the front. It's not kept up. So you know what? They don't have gardeners. They don't have staff. You know, why would you have an overgrown entryway to the property that looks broken? There's fencing that's broken. It's, to me, when you're a member of the royal family, you would have security, and they don't, which again strikes me as very, very odd. So in my opinion, Harry and Meghan are possibly paying housing costs via Archewell. So if this was purchased via a REIT, as it's called, which is a real estate investment trust, it's a company that owns, operates, or finances income producing properties. So this property is possibly classed as an income produced property because they're using it to make money. So I believe that they're renting this out when they were doing their Zoom calls in an attempt to create the illusion of living there, charging it to Arsewell. Oops, was that Freudian slip? Oops. Now the thing is, do I? I'm not going to edit that out. I think YouTube will let me keep that in. Archewell. If this was purchased via a REIT, then it's possible they're renting this out for when they did their Zoom calls in an attempt to create the illusion of living there, charging it to Archewell as a business cost. All of their costs, taxes, etc. would be charged to Archewell, so it'd be a tax. Was it a tax write-off? So the house would be a tax write-off. Also for, like I say, also for her podcast with Spotify, it was revealed by someone who worked for Spotify that they built her a home studio But she also went into the LA office to record sometimes. But again, I find that odd, because if you've got a recording studio, which they've allegedly helped build, did they give them money to do this? And so instead of her building a studio, they've used the money for other things and used it as a tax write-off, because it says here that she would also go into the LA office to record sometimes. Well, we found out since then that she would go in to record with the celebrities that she deemed were useful to her. So the ones where she believed that would probably get her somewhere. Anyone else was surplus to requirements, and so she would just do a recording and then have it played in a way where it looks like they're together, but they're not. And that makes more sense to me, that she would record from her home in a way pretending that she's got this studio there, but she hasn't. So the money that they've probably, because again, like I say, she's a narcissist, so she would probably say, well, you know, I would like to be in control of kitting all of this out. So they'd be like, well, how much would it cost to kit out a studio? She's gone, oh, you know, so many, probably thousands, and they've just given her the money. And so instead of using that for a studio, she's just carried on recording in the rooms that they rent out there, and then going into the LA office to make it seem that she's actually doing something. That seems more credible to me. There's never any pictures of them, of anyone going into the home. There's nothing, there's no pictures of them socializing. Now, I'm not saying that's actually a rule of thumb. That's not really a thing, because there are celebrities that want to stay private, and I understand that. But again, knowing how much of a narcissist she is, she would have reveled in the fact of wanting to show off her home. You know, this is someone who does not want to be private, even though that they are pretending they do with the censorship and everything else, that they are caring about children, they're caring about this, that and the other. They're not. They just want the censorship of anything about them coming out. They want to know that the truth in their background is going to be covered up. And they're using this online censorship to do that. And so knowing that in a way, Arthur, knowing that in a way would literally tell you that if she has this property, she would have been showcasing it. She would have been. They would have had people in, they would have had, you know, there would have been photographs, there would have been everything, because that's what she would have wanted. If a narcissist is hiding something, there is an agenda behind why they're hiding it. It's as simple as that, because they are attention seekers. So she would want, especially given the fact that she's put this property out publicly, both of them have. Now, Harry might want to keep it private, say, but she wouldn't. And given the fact that in the beginning she's certainly run rings around Harry, she would have leaked things, done things without his knowledge, because that's what she would do. Oh, you know, whoops, it was a mistake. So we would have had people, she would have had ways of leaking this, because she would want people to see the grand, opulent home that she lived in. But we've had nothing, apart from them sitting in the same room, same couple of rooms, with the fireplace that's got soot all up it, which I find a bit bizarre. Why would you not clean that off? Especially when it was not long after they'd moved in. So that, it just, the whole thing is hinky to me. So it would be an expense that would have been charged to Archewell, perhaps as there would be taxation benefits for a home of business, which is what a REIT is, which is what I said. A real estate investment trust is a company that owns, operates, or finances income-producing properties. So theoretically, money could be moved between Archewell as expenses, which was around $400,000 in their first year, although none of it was itemised. So if they state that some parts or rooms of the home are dedicated for business use, then they can claim that portions of their home as an office or business expense, depending on how the house ownership is structured. Well, we know that that's what can be done. And again, I'm just going by what I read here. If I'm wrong, because I appreciate this is in America and I don't know everything there is to know. So if some of this is wrong, I appreciate that, and I apologise if I am wrong, but I'm just going by the things that I've garnered. I don't always say that everything I say is the gospel truth. I can only go with what I know myself and what I believe. So like I say, I just find this whole thing very, very bizarre. There's no, like I say, there's also no pictures of them because again, given the fact that it's so public, their address, how is there no pap photos of them coming out of their property, driving in, no perhaps them out walking with the kids? There's nothing. In the day and age of mobile phones, there's nothing. Now, I appreciate maybe the residents around there want to keep private, but at the end of the day, we've had people stating that they're frustrated and fed up with the Harry and Meghan living there because of the paparazzi or whatever it is. But well, where are the photographs then? Because we've never seen them. We only ever see the things they want us to see. Like when they have the odd photograph that comes out in regards to the children. Well, isn't it funny how the children haven't got their faces blurred? Because they want us to see them. Like I said, if they're keeping things hidden, there is a reason. If they want us to see things, there's a reason. Because they want us to believe the children are with them. So every now and again, to appease the people, the cult fan base, they will drop a photograph of the children. So there have also been multiple reports swirling around that Meghan may regularly be retreating to a room at the San Isidro Ranch. This includes the thank you card recently publicised for the bike apparently alleged Archie was recently gifted for his birthday. But interestingly, publicised a month later, sent from an employee, and this was at the ranch. So it would make sense to me that Meghan is staying, because like I say, she's going to want to stay somewhere that's high end because that's who she is. So she will be staying somewhere like that. Then it's a quick drive. If they need to do any recording, it's a quick drive to Montecito to do the recording. So to, again, create the illusion that they are still at that property. I'm not saying that I think that they're even doing that because, again, there is no footage of them going in and out of that property at all. And the fact that it's so overgrown, to me, just speaks volumes. So to kind of cap it off, and I will say that I'm going to be talking a bit more about the children in the next video because I have found some interesting things out. But I'm going to show you how easy it is to manipulate, and I'm going to show you some of the things that I have found. So yeah, so let me know what you think. I understand that there are YouTubers out there that do more of a deep dive. They're able to do that, the Raw Griff for one. And I do think that what she does is amazing. And I do appreciate that some of the work that I do is not even in the same stratosphere as what she can do. So as always, I would always recommend that stick with the people that you feel are credible. Always understand that there's room for mistakes because we're human and we don't always get things right. And I certainly don't, as you know. But I do try to do the best I can, especially given that I'm in the UK and it's really quite difficult to find a lot of information out in regards to their property. But the things that I have found, the screenshots that I've got, I will always put them up here so you can see for yourself. I always invite you, as always, to do your own research. Don't just listen to what I say or other people say and go, oh, well, that must be the gospel truth then. I mean, it's great that you believe, and I appreciate that. But I would always say there are a lot of people out there that are not interested in the truth. They're just interested in the clicks and the views. So be very mindful of that, because I get a lot of emails that come through of people saying, oh, check this channel out, they've said this, that and the other, or they've had Meghan call them, or whatever it is. And I would be a little bit skeptical of those ones, because especially given the way it's so easy to unfortunately fool people nowadays. That's why when I do something, I will try and explain my reasoning behind why I've come to that decision, or I will give you evidence and proof if I found something online that I feel is credible. If I don't talk about something, it's genuinely because I don't believe it, even if others do. And if I don't believe it, then I genuinely don't want to kind of be another person that speculates on something. So I hope that kind of makes sense. So if you like this video, then please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. My views seem to be getting hit again. I feel like this is just I must be doing something right if I'm constantly getting my views hit. So I ask you please to share, to make sure that you click the like button. If you haven't subscribed, then think about doing so, because it's really important that we keep getting the truth as much as we can out there. So I ask you to do your bit in sharing my videos, or like I say, or at the very least, watching and liking them, making sure that you watch to the end, because that does count as a view. If you just get bored and click off halfway through, for some reason, I think that YouTube doesn't count that as a view. If you want to treat me to a cuppa, you can, and thank you to everyone who has done so far. I do try to get in and thank every single one of you. I haven't gone in the last week or so, but I will come in and thank you, because I really do appreciate that. And for everyone that's joining up as a member, I will be getting on top of the membership board and adding names who are not up there at the moment. If you want to write to me, if you want to send me something, you can. My PO box is in the description box below. If you want to email me with your grab your drink of choice video, you can do. If you want to buy my bubble merchandise, you can do. Basically everything you need is there. The links to the other channel, my tea and therapy channel, my son's channel, and other channels that I recommend are also there. But yeah, so as always, I really do appreciate you supporting me and all the love that you give me. It does mean so much to me. I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for you guys. And also don't forget that Mother's Day is coming up on Sunday here in the UK. I think it's different in the States, but it's here in the UK. So for any of you that might have forgotten, it is on Sunday. And as much as I'm a mummy myself, I'm also going to be celebrating with my own mum. So I really am looking forward to that as well. But I'll probably talk a little bit more about that in the next video. So I will see you on Friday. So in the meantime, as always, I love you, I appreciate you, but most of all, I respect you. Take care. Bye-bye. Mwah.